It's really okay, bro. I'm just shut up. What's up, y'all? It is your boy Babypipe. We are back doing another video. Today we are reacting to uh my teacher caught me pregnant. Anyway, it's been like a year since we last did this. But without further ado, look, y'all. I kind of forgot what to do. I kind of forgot how to do this. But your boy doesn't have an intro. Oh yeah, speaking of which. I swear, the quality will improve. Just give me time. I promise you. Anyway, we're just gonna hop into this. My teacher got me pregnant. Let's get
Have you ever done something truly evil and destroyed someone's
it.
whole life?
No.
Well, I have. I was 19 and about to graduate from high school. But then my math teacher, Mr. Cumberbatch, told me I'd failed his class
Cumberbatch.
and would have to repeat the year.
No,
I
whoa,
was
whoa, whoa, whoa,
devastated because I
whoa.
had already made plans to go to college. So I started
Mm.
crying and begged him to show mercy and let me pass. But he said, no, and shook his head. In a last attempt, I gave him a big hug and said, "Please, Mr. Cumberbatch,
Look. If I was a teacher, bro, if my student shows up, shows me that affection, I'm like, suck my dick. Like, it's not my fault. I bet this is how she got pregnant, bro. I'm pretty sure this is how she got pregnant. Little slut.
there anything I can do?" He pushed me away and said, "No, it's too late now." But I showed persistence
Nigga,
and
oh
kept
my
begging him, saying,
god.
"Please, please, please, Mr. Cumberbatch, isn't there anything I can do for you?" Finally, he had a change of heart and wrote down an address on a paper and said, "Okay, come here on Saturday, 6 p.m. We will do some math exercises.
Oh, this nigga means we fucking. Yes or no?
If you do well, I will change your grade and let you pass." I gave him one last hug and said, "Thank you, Mr.
Look how happy
Cumberbatch.
this
You
nigga
are the
is.
best."
Why is this nigga
When
so happy?
Saturday arrived, I was very nervous. I didn't know if I was going on a date or if I was getting a private math lesson. But just
Master,
to be
did
sure,
he?
I dressed myself up.
This
I
bitch
put
is
on
a
my old school
slut.
uniform, but made a few
Oh
changes to look as
hell no.
exciting as
Oh
possible. When I
hell no.
arrived at his house, he opened the door and said, "Come in, you're looking gorgeous today." I responded with, "Thank you, Mr. Cumberbatch, you're looking..."
Bro, if a student, bro, if a student pulls up to my house like that, I'm letting y'all know it's a case. Nigga, what's the age difference? Hold up.
Good too. We sat down
What
at a
grade are we
desk
in?
and he
High
told
school?
me to solve some math problems, but I couldn't focus. Mr. Cumberbatch was so close to me, and I realized how attractive he was. I mean, I was 19 and he was only 10 years older than me.
What the
What turned
fuck?
me on the most was the authority he had over me. He could decide whether I would pass the year
Is a 10-year age difference really? It's not bad. She's 19. That's legal.
or repeat it. At one point, I just stared into his eyes and hoped he would kiss me, but I guess he was too nervous. So instead, I kissed him, and he liked it. Kissing my high school teacher wasn't technically illegal, but we still broke the rules of our school. A teacher-student relationship was strictly prohibited, but that's what made it so exciting. When we said goodbye to each other, I asked him if I had studied enough to pass the year, and he said, "You have worked very hard today, and therefore
Oh
I will let
my.
you pass."
This nigga. Bro. Oh my. I'm telling y'all, bro. Girls have life so easy. Like, oh no, I'm broke. There's nothing to post my body. Oh, I'm getting a whole bunch of followers. Oh, start on OnlyFans. Oh, I make bank. Oh, like, fuck, nigga. Shit's so easy. It's not fair.
I said, "Thank you, Mr. Cumberbatch," and gave him one more kiss on his
Bro, this nigga's last name is Cumberbatch, bro. You know, I'ma just. This nigga's last name is Cumberbatch.
mouth. This might shock you, but it was my first time. And because of my
This
inexperience,
nigga
I forgot to tell
fucked.
him to use protection. So
Oh,
2 weeks later,
oh my. This nigga could not be for real, bro. This nigga's a teacher. Fucking a student. He use protection. What the fuck?
I found out I was pregnant. I didn't mind, though, because I really liked Mr. Cumberbatch. The next day, I went
No.
up to him at school to tell him about the baby. I secretly hoped we would become a couple. But when he heard the news, he got angry and said, "You will go to the pharmacy right now and get the pill." I didn't like the way he talked to me. This was my body and therefore my decision.
Nigga. Okay, am I gonna get controversial? Alright, look. You know what? No, can't risk it
I
right now.
asked him if he was interested in raising the baby with me, but he freaked out and
Hell
screamed,
no.
I already have a wife and kid. I'll never take care of your
Is this nigga dead ass? We have a wife and a kid. Bro. Oh my god, for some teenage pussy. This nigga fucked up his life right now. For some teenage pussy.
stupid baby. Go to the pharmacy right
Oh my
now.
god.
I screamed back, You're married? And he said, Of course. And don't act like you didn't know. All my students know I have a wife and kid. Wow, what
Nigga,
a
that's sport.
jerk.
Oh
Not
no, it's the
only did he
students.
betray his wife, but now he was trying to put the blame on me.
It
I
is
got
on
angry and
you!
said, I will keep the baby and tell your wife what you did. That's when he almost had a seizure and screamed right at me, You won't do that. But then I had an idea. I knew I would keep the baby anyway, but at least I could
Well,
pretend to make it.
anyway. Oh my god, this bitch cannot be dead ass, bro. Oh, this bitch can't be for real. Oh my god.
With him. I said, If you turn all my grades into straight A's, then I will change my mind on the baby. Mr. Cumberbatch was desperate. He agreed to the deal and snuck into our school at night to change my grades on the
What?
principal's computer. But 2 days later, on my graduation day, things went wrong.
We just know
When
the
my
fucking
principal
password to the
handed over my
principal's thing?
report card, he took a quick look at it and said, There must have been a mistake. I immediately knew my plan had failed, and the next day I got my real report card, and my grades were terrible. The only A I got was in Mr. Cumberbatch's math class. I knew it wasn't his fault, but I was so angry, I found out his address and went to his house. A
Alright,
woman
alright, alright, nigga, chill, nigga, chill, nigga, chill, nigga, chill. You, how is that possible? Oh no, no. This was probably in like the 90s or some shit. They had like the location of the house.
opened the door, and she was pregnant too. I
This nigga dropped like 3 kids, bro. Oh my
asked
god.
her if she was the wife of Mr. Cumberbatch, and she said yes. Then Mr. Cumberbatch appeared next to her. He stared at me in a very threatening way. For a moment I had doubts, but then I looked straight into her eyes and said, Your husband got me pregnant and he has no interest in taking responsibility for his mistake. I hoped she would get angry at her husband,
What?
but instead she got angry at me, screaming, You bitch! You've seduced my husband, you dirty bitch! Wow, if Mr. Cumberbatch hadn't held her back from me, I might not be alive today. I was shocked and went back home, but it got worse. The next day, she came to my house and used a golf club to break in through a window.
Must I remind you, this bitch is pregnant, jumping through a window. Come on now. Real for golf. Oh
My
my
parents weren't
god.
at home to protect me, so I fled to the rooftop and called the police. They arrived in time and took Mrs. Cumberbatch into custody. 2 weeks later, she was sentenced to 24 months in prison. But this story gets even crazier.
She's so
I called
happy
up
about
Mr.
it too.
Cumberbatch and told him we needed to talk. We met at a restaurant and I asked him, How much child support will you pay me each month? He responded, I'm only a teacher. I don't make much money. But I asked again, How much child support are you going to pay me? He said, Look, my pregnant wife is in prison and we both know she is insane. I will divorce her as soon as possible and I'd like you to come live with me.
Oh,
It
this
will be the
nigga's a,
best for
oh,
both
this
you
nigga's a
and the
oh
baby.
man's, bro.
I immediately
Oh my
said yes because I
god.
was scared of
It's
being a
pissing me
single
off.
mom. But after my daughter was born, I had to take care of both her and Mr. Cumberbatch's other baby.
The fact
At
she kept
first,
the
I didn't
baby.
mind. I loved them both. But then I saw how Mr. Cumberbatch preferred his other daughter over mine. He spent more time with her and treated her so much better.
What?
Every morning, he said to her, Hey, sweetie, good morning. I love you so much. And then he completely ignored my daughter. I had to admit that she was the perfect
Your
child.
daughter was an accident.
Extremely beautiful and very smart, much
God.
smarter than my daughter. At age 2, she already spoke fluently. I often screamed at Mr. Cumberbatch, telling him to treat them equally, but he never did. At one point, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to a lawyer and asked him how much the father of my child had to pay me in child support on a $40,000 teacher salary. He told me to expect at least $1,000 per month.
Is that not the same
That
nigga?
was a good amount, but I knew I could do better. So I went to Mr. Cumberbatch and said, I will move out, but I expect you to pay me $2,000 in child support each month. Of
Nigga,
course, he told
2,000 a month? Nigga, my dad's paying 600 a month. What the fuck? Oh, I guess. Oh, I guess.
Me he didn't have enough money to do that. But I continued. If you don't pay me the money, I will tell the school authorities that you got me pregnant while I was one of your students.
They don't know
I'm
yet?
sure they will fire you for that. He got angry and said, "How stupid are you? If I'm gonna lose my job, then how am I gonna pay your child support?" I responded, "You are demanded by the law to pay my child support anyway. If you don't, you will go to prison just like your wife." "You are
This bitch is
insane.
evil.
All you women are insane," he said. But I didn't care. I told him to get a second job, and we figured he could tutor kids to afford the
I'm sorry, I thought I was hearing shit.
$2,500 in child support. Meanwhile, I moved back in with my parents, and life became much easier for me. Right now, my
This
mom
bitch must
takes
wanna
care of my
cook you.
daughter while I'm going to college. With the $2,500 Mr. Cumberbatch sends me each month, I have enough money to feed my daughter and party through the weekends.
Nigga, fuck the
Trust me,
parties. Get
I
a
really
job.
enjoy my college
Oh my
life.
god.
But Mr. Cumberbatch had to move into a cheaper and smaller house. He couldn't afford his old rent anymore. I knew it was wrong, but for some reason, I deeply enjoyed
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
Mr. Cumberbatch suffer.
This bitch is
A
evil.
few months later, I checked his Facebook and saw he was back with Mrs. Cumberbatch. I was still envious of their daughter. I didn't think they deserved such a perfect child. So
The
one
fuck?
night, after I came back from a college party, I did something terrible. I put a bunch of photos of me holding Mrs. Cumberbatch's daughter on a USB stick, put it in an envelope, and sent it to their new home. I wanted to let Mrs. Cumberbatch know that her husband and I had been living together while she was in prison. I'd hoped she'd get angry and break into
This
my
bitch is
house so
evil. Hey, she did. Hold on.
police could arrest her again.
She did all of this just. Oh my god, she's weird. Bro, you're planning. You just want to get this bitch taken. Oh my god, bro, I guess.
But this time nothing happened, and instead of giving up, I took it one step further. When it was time to receive my next child support check, I went to their home to pick it up personally. Mrs. Cumberbatch opened the door looking shocked to see me. I said, "I want to pick up my child support check in person." She said, "What are you talking about?" And I responded, "Your husband didn't tell you? He pays me $2,000 per month in child support so I can take care of my daughter." I saw she was getting angry, and then her daughter came to the door and saw me. She immediately started screaming out of joy and ran up to me. Her mother said, "Don't touch her." But I didn't care. I picked her up and said, "Oh, there's my baby. Mama is back now." Her mother
Mama?
took her out of my
Bro,
arms
bro. If this bitch does not start smacking her, I'm done. I'm done. I don't get it.
and screamed at me, "You dirty little girl! All you do is destroy happy families!" I responded, "If you're such a happy family, why didn't your husband tell you he's paying another girl $2,000 a month in child support? And where is he anyway? I'm sure he wants to sleep with me again."
Crazy.
She responded, "You better not come here again, or it will be your last time." And I said, "You better be careful your husband doesn't get another girl pregnant. He really doesn't care
Damn.
about you."
Damn.
That's when she suddenly ran into her apartment. I was afraid she was getting a knife, so I quickly got out of there ASAP. But on my way home, I felt weird. Like I had done something wrong.
You,
It seemed
you,
that
you barely, you barely realized. You barely realized. Oh my god. You sent her picture trying to get her arrested, taking her away from her daughter, which would lead her into prison. You could have took a fucking plan B. Like, oh my. This bitch thinks it. Oh my. Oh, this bitch must be stupid.
Mrs. Cumberbatch had matured and was really trying her best to make things work.
You need to
Meanwhile, I
mature.
was the one trying to destroy their family and making
Exactly.
everyone miserable. I knew I'd messed up, and that's why I decided not to bother them anymore. I still receive my child support checks, but now I fully focus on my daughter and on college.
Look, give me a face cam. Give me a face cam. Get me a face cam. You make. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, bro. I swear to you, as soon as I get a computer, this shit, it's raps, bro. I'm telling you, I'm going live every day. I'm reacting every day, bro. This is the shit that pisses me off, bro. What I learned from this is that bitches ain't shit. They can suck a dick, nigga. I would not care. Anyway, yo, it's been your boy, Babypipe, and I will be back. So far, I dropped Monday. Tuesday is when I'm gonna record, which is today. So then I'll drop Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then maybe Thursday, and then Sunday. But without further ado, y'all next time. I love y'all. 100 by the end of the year. Let's get it.